Thank you.
Right. My full name is Aaron Lewis Scott Lombard Arnold, 53-year-old Jewish native Ohioan. I came out as a homosexual when I was about 16 or 17. We'll say 16. 1982 in high school, and been living as such until very recently. And I don't want to say I've been living a lie, because it was sincere, but everybody has their own definition and of what we make these labels from. And the fact is, I was looking for some sort of validation back in the day, back in high school, that I just couldn't find. My social clique were they were all straight friends, but very progressive thinking, alternative, and very liberated group. And it seemed like they would accept anything. And so what I wanted to tell them initially was that I was just not interested in anybody physically. I'm just very, I don't know if you want to say physically shy, but I've never had any desire to have sex. I am a 53-year-old virgin, I'll admit that. And I have no problem with it. It seems the people around me seem to suggest that they do, or they want to project too much about it. They want to label that, they want to call it pathetic. I don't see what's pathetic about it when it's a matter of choice, and something that feels natural. But that lack of desire, though, that I wanted to express to my friends, them being a very progressive thinking group, I figured for sure they'd totally understand it, and they didn't, and I don't blame them for them. You know, they were typical heterosexual teenage boys, and suddenly all their hormones were raging, and that's all they were interested in. I didn't want to be a part of it. There was a lot about standard heterosexual behavior that I just did not identify with. The way I saw it, in my eyes, I thought people, both genders they were treating one another like objects. I wanted to treat everyone like people. I didn't want someone to be my quest. I desired companionship, but just friendship, nothing physical. And with that lack, you probably wonder, I don't want to talk too much about this, but sure, I've gotten by on self-stimulation. I'm trying to avoid saying the M word. But what? Huh?
I'll say it for you. Masturbation.
Thank you. But the thing is, what stimulates me in my head, it's very deep in my head. It has nothing to do with sex whatsoever. It's very, very personal. I won't even talk about it with a shrink, because it's just going on in my mind. But it works for me, and I'm fine with it. And so I got by with that. And I wasn't just seeking to be different, and not getting any validation back in the day. I was wondering, is it a disorder? Because some things that happened in my childhood might have skewed my sexual development. I'll admit that. But whatever it was, I was comfortable with it. But once I told my friends, but believing that no such thing exists and not getting the validation, I'm thinking maybe there is something else. And then between one time when I was a bunch of guys were crammed in a car, I was amongst a bunch of guys. One started breathing down my neck, and it was kind of arousing, and that's when it started to hit me. And there were signs from my past, like I did bring my manicure set to summer camp when I was about 11, and my parents took me to see That's Entertainment when I was about 10, and I wanted life to be an MGM musical. So in other words, I'm thinking, in my mind, that those were signs that, okay, I must be gay. And once I said that, that made sense. And where they rejected me totally for lack of any sexual desire, they totally accepted. Oh, so you're gay. And so then that kind of got me out of the heterosexual mode that I was trying to avoid. And I did, throughout the years, I had boyfriends, and yes, I was definitely very attracted to men, and I just did not have the desire to have full sexual intercourse with a man or a woman. I actually eventually tried it with a woman a couple of times and just couldn't do it. With men I dated, I would always get to a point where I would just say, stop, that's enough. And they usually turned out to be okay with it. I also remember hoping I'd get some validation from other gay men that I knew, that they would understand my lack of desire, but I was the same thing. I once told someone, I kind of exaggerated, I said, I haven't had sex in over a year. And of course, I really hadn't had it since ever, but he same thing though. Whoa, that's pathetic, And I'm like, so I just kind of kept it to myself, and dated men and dated some women, and my desires romantically remind me, being an old movie connoisseur, my desires kind of reminded me of of Hays Code-infested Hollywood of the 1930s, where it was all just built up to big romantic scenes, and I had romantic desires, again, mostly with men, but some with women too. And so I dated both genders over the years, and I also noticed along the lines, people were the same way about this. I have something about getting massages. I cannot fathom getting a massage. The only people I've ever been able to consider were my mother and my paternal grandmother. They're both gone now, so the only thing I can get one from is a little handheld gadget that I have at home. And but someone touching me and pressing their hand against me, I just find it disconcerting. That too kind of elicited a similar reaction of people. You tell someone that and they just want to fight you on it right away. And no, you don't know what you're saying. I guess I do. You don't know what goes on inside my head, and it's okay. It felt very natural, and I'm okay with it. And it's just physical shyness, and I think it's along the same lines. But it's like I think it shows me we're in a fix in society. They wanted to fix the lack of sexual desire, but I was comfortable going with calling myself gay and identifying as gay, and I like telling people that I was, because at times it was like a litmus test for meeting people. It was how they accepted that. And so, but as I say, it was sincere. You know, I had pictures of men in my room that I would look at before I go to bed and stuff like that, and was dating men, just not going. And this went on until just about 3 months ago or so, and after identifying as gay for about 36 years, I've suddenly, it was all changed by way of a movie. I'm not going to say what the movie was, because I'm thinking, I don't like spoilers myself. If you're dying to know, ask me afterwards, but in case someone here sees this movie in the future. But let me just say, and it wasn't even, oddly enough, it wasn't like the greatest movie of the year, but it did involve a buildup of a female character to her wedding night. And on her wedding night, she just tells her husband, I can't have sex with you. And she even says, if you want to have sex, you can have all you want outside the marriage, it won't bother me. And an arrangement I've had with people, I've told people I've been dating that I am not a sexual person, have what you want, but outside, and it won't bother me. But the thing is, as far as this movie goes, they didn't say right away. It wasn't that clear as to what it was. It was possible that it was in a very conservative setting. Maybe she was a lesbian, or maybe she was emotionally or physically or sexually scarred from her past. But for the first time, I wondered, or is she asexual? And that's what the word finally came in for the first time in 36 years. So this is 2018, it's not 1982, and of course we've got Google now. So you say first thing, and the thing is, I picked up on asexual right away, and that's what I think was the point of the story. And as soon as I got home, of course, I Googled asexual, and there it was all over the place. Finally, the validation I needed 36 years earlier. And so I found, social media groups and meetup groups and plenty of articles and websites about asexual, even famous asexuals like Morrissey and Janine Garofalo, people I admire, and that helps for someone like me who another thing I said, that to give me personal stimulation, whether it's sexual or not, it's very fulfilling to my life. It's kind of like seeing lots of movies. You wouldn't believe how many movies I see all the time. Another thing is singing. I know I'm not a very good singer, but I call myself a recreational singer, and I post videos on Facebook all the time, and that's very fulfilling. I think it's filling a void that might have been left. I don't know. The thing is, I just know I am not sexually repressed. And if I was really desiring it, I would be by now. And I see how sexually repressed people are, but sometimes I take it out on singing or seeing movies. I find ways to take it out, and for me it's just fine. But as soon as I saw the word asexual, first time, everything is clear. I've got just some clarity and just a sense of what's real more than ever. So speaking of the asexual, the new asexual definition that I'm actually, this story is playing out as we speak. It's just, like I say, 3 months ago. I'm still getting used to it. I just referred to myself as gay the other day, and I was just talking to Eva earlier, and she said, you could still call yourself gay, and I am. And I've not been living a lie, I'm gay, but I'm just not physically desiring to go all the way. I'm wondering how this is going to play out. I called myself gay the other day, just wanting to distance myself from a heterosexual label, like I did, like I've been doing for 36 years. And maybe they'll strip down. But first and foremost, I'm getting myself to start saying just that I'm asexual, and that doesn't have to be a problem. I'm really curious, though, as to how like those who are anti-gay and validated by religion or conservative politics, what do they think of asexuals? Well, for one, I think, the first thing I think of, I'm very curious about the Westboro Baptist Church. I know I'm not the only one here. What do they think of asexuals? If they hate me, that would be the greatest compliment in the world, of course. But like I say, everything's clearer than ever. And, okay, Christina. So I close on a note of clarity. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. Trust me, I know. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of. Every mountain, sea, and shore you will hear from far and near, a world you've never heard before. And on that clear day, sing along if you know it, come on now. On that clear day, you can see forever and ever and ever more. Thank you very much.